Hello everyone, big day today. It is the premiere of the Arsene Wenger film Invincible, and it's going to be shown right here behind me in the Picture House, Finsbury Park, and I'm here to watch it. Plenty of Arsenal celebrities going to be here, and I'm going to be on the red carpet, so it could be an interesting day. So I thought I'd film this little thing, take you behind the scenes of what it was like at the premiere of the Arsene Wenger film. Hopefully you enjoy. Here I am inside the Picture House cinema now. We're still waiting for Arsene, and there's going to be Edu here. Mikel Arteta's apparently arriving, and plenty of former Arsenal players as well. As you can see, surrounded by the world's media, the great Chris Wheatley and Kaya there from Football London, of course, Reach everywhere, wherever you look, and everyone else all down here. So yeah, this is the inside of the cinema, and now we wait for the superstars.
It's a nightmare with the Brexit and the COVID. It's very difficult to work in Vienna in France. And we share a job, and Gabriel makes a very good interview.
Although I think in my wildest dreams she could never have given me as many moments of ecstasy and joy as this man is. Will you please welcome to the stage here at Finsbury Park Picture House, there is only one, Arsene Wenger.
Right, hi everyone, I'm back home now. As you can see, it's the morning after the Arsene Wenger film premiere up in London. I just wanted to give a bit of review about what I saw last night for all you who are interested in thinking about watching the film. I mean, it was great. I have to say that it was great. I thought the book, Arsene Wenger's book, which I've been looking forward to for years, was massively disappointing. It just didn't really go into any detail about stuff I was hoping it was going to go into detail for, and it left me feeling very, very underwhelmed. The film, however, is very, very different. I think the key thing to that, it's not like Wenger's book was written by Wenger. He should have got a decent ghostwriter in to write it. It would have really drawn more stories out of him, I think. Instead, it ended up feeling like I was just skim reading over Wikipedia or something like that, which was a massive disappointment. But this time it's been told by two proper story makers, proper filmmakers, lots of fantastic talking heads in it, giving information. Patrick Vieira's superb in it, Thierry Henry, David Dean, Ian Wright's really funny in it during at times, Sir Alex Ferguson, obviously, which I thought was a really good, important part of the film, because that was such a massive rivalry and shaped Wenger's time in Arsenal. Really, was him and Fergie, and so I thought it was really, really good. And I certainly wasn't feeling underwhelmed after leaving the cinema last night. I thought it was a really, really great watch, and I do urge all of you Arsenal fans, if you want to go and sit and just enjoy. I think enjoy is the right word. I mean, it follows Wenger's arc basically at Arsenal, so it's not this perfect love story, which Wenger's time at Arsenal clearly wasn't. It started everyone happily in love, but obviously it ended with some bitterness and disappointment, and the film follows that perfectly. You know, it's not just about the Invincibles, although it's called Arsene Wenger Invincible. That is a major part of it, and we follow the story of that season and the double wins of '98 and 2002. And when he arrived, it also talks about his time at Monaco and in Grand Passat in Japan as well. So you start on that arc where everything's going up, but then at the end it follows the decline, and it goes into detail about what the disappointment of those last few years and how he felt about the club, and obviously the anti-Wenger protests that were going on from some fans and that sort of things. And it's a really emotional journey, I thought. And I don't want to give too many spoilers away. I mean, look, we all know what happens when it comes to Wenger and Arsenal, so it's tough to really give spoilers away. But it's I was left. It was quite emotional at the end, because I think, look, I was at the time thinking Arsene needed to leave. It was the right. Well, in fact, he should have left a few years before. But I still worship that man. I have so much respect for that man. It's unbelievable, and it was a pleasure talking to him last night at the premiere and listening to other people talk about him. I spoke to Mikel Arteta about him, and it's still sad to hear him talk about the fact, how hard those last few years was. Like he says that a line in the film is, "Highbury was my soul and Emirates is my suffering." And in a way, I think we all absolutely can understand that and feel that, because it's been the same way for us all. Highbury, for those of us fortunate enough to be around during that era, and that place will always be the most special place. The Emirates will never get near Highbury ever, no matter what happens there. Like, Highbury for me is where I grew up. It's where I've had the best memories. It's where I just had the best moments with my dad, and it will always be the most special place for me. And the Emirates will never touch that. It never will. And just hearing Wenger say that, "Highbury my soul, Emirates my suffering," it really sort of struck a chord with me. And he said at the end in it, he says, "There's no, because he's never been back since he left the club, since he was fired, basically." And he says, "There's no special reason for me to go there. The rest of it is purely emotional." And that's just that's a sad comment to me. It's tough not to feel sad by that, because this is Arsene Wenger. This is the man who was there for 22 years. He gave us the best football we're ever going to see in our lives. He gave us the Invincible season. And he's got no special reason to go back to Arsenal. And that's just really, really sad for me and to me. And it was good seeing, Edu was there yesterday, Vinay was there yesterday, and by all accounts afterwards they were talking with Arsene, and Arsene gave an interview to the club media, the Arsenal club media there, and I imagine that's the first interview he's given to Arsenal since he left the club. And so hopefully there are bridges to be built there, and we will see Wenger back one day, because it just seems really sad to me that there's no special reason for him to go back to the club. There shouldn't, it should just happen. And there was another point in the film he talks about, he still goes down to Highbury now and walks down the hill and towards the East Stand just to rekindle those memories for him. And so clearly the love affair is there. And in the Q&A afterwards, because he did a bit of a Q&A, he said, "Do you still love Arsenal?" He said, "Yes, of course. I tackle, I shoot, I defend and attack every ball. My life is red and white." And so he clearly still does have that deep feeling for Arsenal, but there's still obviously a bitterness there about how the way it ended. And a lot of people who were at the club then, Ivan Gazidis, people like that who made that decision aren't there anymore. But obviously the Cronkies are, and the Cronkies were the guys that signed off on it. And so you would think that the bitterness that he feels is towards them, and obviously maybe towards some of the fan base who were on those Wenger out protests that we saw that were very vociferous. We saw planes flying over. And so that was my overriding feeling from the film at the end, was as much as I loved the first half of it, and it gave me all those special memories of the Invincible season and really great insight into it as well. It was a sad ending in a way for this great man who gave us all some of the best times we'll ever had. And they're just, for me, I just came out of it thinking they've got to find a way of getting Arsene back in. Like Mikel Arteta, I spoke to him before the film, and he's put this massive picture of Arsene Wenger up in the training ground at London Colney. And so when the players come in, they've met with this huge picture of Arsene Wenger with one of his inspirational quotes underneath it, and he's got his hand out, and the players apparently high-five him as they come in the room, come in the training centre. And you hear that, and you think, well, if that can happen, then surely he can come to the stadium and start being a little bit more of a presence around. There's been enough time now. I think everyone's had this little split, and that was my overriding memory from last night, was as I left and after I watched the film, which was fantastic, and I honestly urge you all to watch it, was that there's got to find a way, everyone's got to find a way of coming together and having Arsene back as a bit of a presence at the club. Not involved, you know, he doesn't need to be on the board, be chairman or something like that, but just so that he feels welcome around the club to come and turn up and watch nowadays, because he deserves that. He absolutely deserves that. And, you know, give the guy a statue. He absolutely deserves a statue. And so, yeah, that was my overriding feeling of it all. It was a fantastic night. It was a great film. It's an absolute must-watch for all Arsenal fans. But don't go in there, you know, expecting it's just going to be this one big, happy, pro-Arsene Wenger film, because it's really not. It follows his arc, as I say, the story arc of, you know, arriving, success, plateauing almost, and then the sort of unhappy ending, which, unfortunately, despite those FA Cup wins, his sort of latter years at Arsenal and the Emirates era is viewed at. So that's my review from the film. That's my thoughts from the day. But please do head over and watch it when it comes out. It's only out in a couple of cinemas. I've got it here. The release date, I saw it at the Finsbury Park Pitch House yesterday. Fantastic cinema. It's going to be shown there from November the 11th. It's also at the Pitch House in Hackney. They're the only two screenings in terms of cinemas in London where you can watch the film. But it is going to be streaming. You can purchase the film on Amazon Prime Video, Sky, Google Play, Apple TV. That's from November the 22nd. And you can also get it on DVD and Blu-ray, which can be pre-ordered ahead of its release, which is also November 22nd. So that's how you can watch Arsene Wenger Invincible. I urge you, go and watch it.